That's not English, Brian. It's German.
Oh,
So what I told you is true, from a certain point of view.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View. And I will say, after 2 weeks of being off, I missed controlling this show. Prisoners are back in their cells for the time being.
Enjoy it while you can.
We are live. It is Monday evening. Thank you to everyone who's joined us, hanging out here as we get a little serious tonight. We do a deep dive into our lives this evening here on POV. But before we do all that, let's go and see how the rest of the crew is doing today. I'm gonna go backwards. I don't know how you all did it when I was gone, but I'm gonna go backwards. Molly, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm tired, but like in a good, I got a lot done today kind of way. Worked out. We did our book club today for our Star Wars Explained Patreon for Rise of the Red Blade, which was really fun because I haven't been to like the past 2 or 3 of those because I am terrible at reading the books on time or ever finishing them. So that was fun. We got to chat a whole bunch about the book. Yeah, just a Monday. I'm like starting to really crack down on Dragon Con prep now.
Fair. What is it? T-minus what? 10 days? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
2
Really,
weeks,
it's
maybe?
just my Poison Ivy costume. I need to glue all the leaves on.
Oh, is that what you officially decided on? It's Poison Ivy?
Yeah, I don't know which day we're doing it, but one of the days.
I imagine Jill's doing Harley Quinn.
I am doing Harley Quinn, yeah. Sorry, Sean's
Sean.
on the phone.
Hi, Sean.
They say hi. Sean was like, what do you want for dinner? And I was like, he was like giving me an explanation about Arby's. And I said, babe, this is great, but I'm live right now. So tell me where you end up going and just let me know.
Wait, does Arby's have the meats?
He wants to know if Arby's has the meat?
Yes.
Yes.
We've got the meat.
Yes. Okay.
They had the curly fries too.
Okay, tell me
The
where you
curly
go and
fries
I'll
are
let
where
you
it's
know
at.
what I want.
They have
Yeah.
that dip. What's it called? The French dip one?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
the like. Oh, what is that called?
I don't know, but it's a specific sandwich.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back.
You're good. All I did was ask
Totally.
about Harley Quinn. We're not officially to you yet.
Yeah,
'cause,
I am the Harley to Molly's Ivy.
as expected.
I saw someone ask or say that you're going to be Pirate King, whatever, what's his name? Gorian Shout or whatever it is.
Oh, Gorian Shart. Yeah.
yeah.
Could
and
be.
I started
That'd
dying.
be fun.
Add a
There's-
few
there's-
more leaves.
There's gotta be a couple of those rolling around
Oh,
for
I
That'd
sure.
be fun.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, Mr. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm sick. I've got a nice little head cold. I haven't been sick, like a cold, since COVID, I think. So,
Lucky.
like, this thing is knocking me on my butt.
I always get a head cold right around every year without fail, right around my birthday. Always.
Yeah. It's not fun. I can't remember the last time I've had just a, like, head cold. Not like the stomach flu or something like that, because it feels like everything is just here up, and it's just like,
It's the worst.
yeah, and it's kicking my fanny. But other than that, I'm just sleeping and doing absolutely nothing, which isn't a horrible thing. I just feel
No,
like,
your body's working really hard to recover.
yeah, I know. It was, I don't know. It's funny because I can't sleep at night, but during the day I can sleep. I don't know why.
Hey, as long as you get sleep at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah, but it's gonna throw off my schedule so hard.
Well, that's true.
Are
Thank
you using like NyQuil or anything?
No, just
Oh.
taking aspirin and stuff. I when I'm sick, I try not to take as like a bunch of stuff unless I'm like
Dying.
dieting. But like this is just a straight up like
Is there a reason why you don't take a bunch of stuff?
I mean I feel like your body should be able to like handle a little.
That's what
cold.
they thought in the 1700s too,
I
Brian.
know, but like for me, it's just like I just have a stuffy nose. I don't have a cough. I don't have not like coughing up.
There's not a whole lot you can do about a stuffy nose.
Yeah, it's just like a stuffy nose and like sinus pressure. So it's like whatever. I'm not gonna go crazy with it. Plus, maybe I get to not go to work as much.
I love a little NyQuil trip.
I do love a good
I was gonna say every
NyQuil trip.
I 100% take NyQuil. Like no question.
Yeah.
No sleep like a NyQuil cold and flu sleep, man. Let me tell you.
If I was home and I would have taken it back because I came home this weekend. Then it started up like Saturday night. I have it at home, but that stuff's expensive. It's like $25 for like.
Get the knockoff. You gotta get the knockoff.
Yeah, just
shit.
get the CVS version or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but just just doing that. At least thank sweet baby Lord Jesus, Disney is not making us stay up till midnight anymore for this.
Bless. Disney's doing something right.
So now I'll just get to be home with my sickness and just watch it like a normal person. And yeah.
That's my big life-changing announcement is that I get to watch the show at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays now.
Oh, I didn't even think about you.
Yeah, guys. Molly's like, I can watch it and then go to bed. And
I didn't even think about you guys.
What a treat.
This is the Californian in me where I don't think about anyone outside of our state. But I didn't even think about the fact that like you guys get to like have a normal watch time.
Yeah. Well, we'll still be up. Alex will probably be up late most Tuesdays then, but that's normal. We're up late most days anyways, and then we can not wake up at the crack of dawn.
Wait, does this mean it screws Andy now? Because he's been getting to watch it in the end of the day, and I hope it screws because you used to give us crap for it. So if
the Australians are fucked now.
Yeah.
What are they? 17 hours ahead? So that means it would be sometime in the afternoon or evening for it. No.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was like the afternoon.
It'd be the middle of the day, I think, for him, right?
Crap.
Just quickly, Jill, I'm going to go to you next, but just quickly because people are asking. It's coming. So the first 2 episodes are just this week, and then they're doing 1 episode after. And just to answer, I think Tim may have asked, we're not doing any kind of official after show here, simply because one of our co-hosts does an after show on their channel, and go check that out. So go and watch
what,
that.
Brian?
I said, and you guys picked the best name possible, so there was no point after that.
Yeah, the show between shows is on Star Wars Explained every Wednesday. Go watch that.
Once I saw the name of the show, I was like, it's over.
Everyone else go home.
Yeah, it's like just don't even try. There's no.
Someone gave us that name, Elliot Finn. I couldn't find them on Twitter, but I think they're on Instagram. But they gave us that name on one of our Lego live streams like a long time ago.
Great name.
I will say regarding POV though, and I mentioned this to the crew a couple times, but I think on Patreon, the patrons are going to get my reaction to the episodes.
I could probably do it with you too.
Yeah, I'm going to record. It'll at least be me every week. I'm going to record my reactions. Everyone else has obviously the room to filter in and do it as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to sit down, hang out, watch them. You'll get a recording of my live reaction, and then I'll upload them either late that night or early the next morning. So patrons, you will see that. But yes, there will not be an official after show just because there's a much more popular, better Star Wars channel that is way better to go watch. So go watch.
Doesn't mean we're not going to not talk about it though.
Oh, no.
Just but not we won't, as in depth.
Yeah, we won't. We're not going to do it like The Last of Us, where we're doing it every week, talking about every episode. So
I'll for sure join you because the last time we watched a show together was the ending of Rebels.
Well, I mean, that wasn't the last time we watched a show together.
No, we all did. Right. We all did
in the same place. Yeah.
Well, during COVID, we all watched that one Mando episode where Ahsoka was on.
Yeah, we watched the Ahsoka episode of Mando. Yeah, which is public on the channel. Actually.
Yeah, but in person, I'm talking, Jake. When was the last time you and I watched something together? I can't.
Well, we watched For All Mankind when all of you guys were here, but you had never watched it, so.
I hadn't either.
In person?
I think I was just derping.
Yeah, we all watched it at my house. We watched literally the season 3 finale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, when I had just started season 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I will have we will have a POV crew version of one of our after shows for the show between shows.
So thankful and honored for this specific show. Like, my God. So.
I don't want to spoil it, but that conversation made me laugh so hard. It was just like, yeah, let's do this one. You know, I'd really like this one. And I was just like, I'm sure you did.
Yeah. Anyway, Ahsoka will come back up because we did get a super chat. I'll bring up here in just a second. But I will ask, Jill, how is your day going?
Today's going good. I survived the hurricane of 2023.
The earthquake.
I survived the hurricane.
Yo, that Hercules thing you posted was so spot on. I have not laughed like that in a while.
I saw that on TikTok. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was actually in San Diego this weekend for my future sister-in-law's bachelorette party.
So Sean's sister?
Sean's baby sister.
Okay.
And I left early because I was like, I'm not sticking around for this. Sorry. Like, it's probably not going to be as bad as they say it is, but I don't want to find out. So I was supposed to leave Sunday afternoon, and Sean picked me up Saturday afternoon. Survived the hurricane. It was pouring last night, and room started shaking. Sean goes, "Is that an earthquake?" And I'm like, waited for a couple seconds. I was like, "Yeah, huh? Yeah, that's an earthquake."
Dang.
Sure is. Yeah. But we're safe. We're all fine. We didn't flood. It's bright and sunny now. It is 75 degrees. It's humid as F outside. So it was just a weird thing, but we're all good.
My sister said it wasn't even that for her that bad. And
it wasn't. It wasn't too bad. And well, luckily, like my other sister-in-law called me yesterday morning and she was like, "I'm glad you left when you did because driving home right now is terrifying." And I'm like, "Yeah, I would have freaked out." So I'm glad that I left when I did.
I couldn't imagine being in a car on an LA freeway.
No.
And an earthquake goes down. Like that would be
well, you don't feel it when you're driving. When you're driving and there's an earthquake, you don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're moving. So you don't really feel like the earth shaking, but yeah, it was weird, but it was a good weekend. Today was fine. It was chill. I was just home today. So no complaints here. Just prepping, doing Dragon Con prep this week. So we leave Saturday.
My sister's soon-to-be mother-in-law is visiting because she's going to stay with their dog while they go to Hawaii this week. And this poor woman, in a matter of days, has experienced a hurricane, an earthquake, like flooding, and she's like, I'm not doing this yet.
Yep. Yeah, Abby Friel tweeted. She was like, "I just had my first earthquake experience." I'm like, "You can officially say you live here now."
Yeah.
Like you don't actually live in California until you've been through an earthquake.
I texted her and she's like, "It was so weird. It was like it started moving." And then I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's an earthquake."
That's it. It wasn't bad though. It was a baby one.
Was it a roller or was it just a boom?
No, it wasn't a roller. It was a shake.
Mm.
But it was one of those where it was one of those ones where you had to like sit and figure out if it was an earthquake or not, and not just something like rumbling.
Like
in the like.
Put it this way, Brian. Because I live in California, a video came up on TikTok of a woman who got it on the Ring camera, and the caption of the video was "Watch the snake plant in the corner."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was
not that her house was shaking or anything, but the snake plant was shaking.
Yeah.
Like nothing fell, nothing was moved around. It was just one of those like where it's like a little rumble, and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's an earthquake." And by the time we even realized it was an earthquake, it was over. So
yeah,
we didn't even get up.
The ones I don't like is the like it's side to side, and then it starts to like get really heavy, and then
it wasn't one of those.
Heavy.
It was just a little
terrifying.
Rumble.
Yeah.
When you've lived it all your life, Molly, it's really not.
Yeah.
I've experienced one of those. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But even with those, like I don't even get up. I think I've only gotten up and gone outside for like one earthquake in my entire life. Because usually you'll just lay down and you'll wait it out and you'll go, "Let's see how bad this gets before I decide to like get up." And then by the time you go, "Oh, maybe I should get up," it's over. So
Jill's like, "I'm gonna wait for a plate to fall, then I'll get up."
Once things start to move, that's when you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna get out."
Once Sean's little men.
You know what would be the worst? The worst part is what if one of your Legos fell? Then you're screwed.
Oh.
No, it's not the Legos, it's the bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of replaceable. But did you keep the Lego manuals? That's the big question.
I do keep all the Lego manuals, and hey, if one of my Legos builds, if it falls and breaks, it just means I get to rebuild it again. So like,
Not
is
if you're
that-
missing one piece, Jill.
Oh, well,
One
then
piece and you're
that's when
screwed.
That's when you just call Lego and be like, hey, I'm missing a piece.
No thanks.
That's like the worst part about Lego is if you're missing one freaking piece.
Just the one.
Oh,
I have too much knick-knack bullshit that if we had a big earthquake, I'd be so pissed. There'd be so much cleaning up. Ugh.
all right. Well, before we get into our main topic, which we're going to be talking about, and just real quick, because I didn't know this was actually a thing until about 10 minutes ago, or maybe 15 minutes ago. The channel's not ending, for anybody who is wondering.
Surprise!
The Twitter, the post and the thumbnail, the channel is not ending. Nothing is going on here. We just simply are kind of just hitting the rewind button a little bit on things that we've learned in the past compared to where we are now. That's the conversation we're having tonight. So I just wanted to make that clear. But before we do so, I want to bring up the super chat, make sure I don't forget it here. Tim Sim brings it up. With Ahsoka coming tomorrow night, how are we all handling our expectations? Cannot wait for all the after shows to come. Shout out to Alex and others helping us who haven't deeply watched Rebels.
Yeah, Alex is killing it because my friends are stubborn AF and will not watch the animated show because they think it's cartoons for kids. And I've been force feeding.
I have a couple friends like that as well.
Yeah, I have been force feeding. Like, I'm not explaining to you how this works. You watch this. Yeah.
That was the plan leading up to the show.
Yeah.
Just as far as your question, Tim, I mean, I think for me, my expectations they've been like where they were at for a very long time. Let's be honest. Like
Jake's on the roller coaster that started at Celebration and then just like it's finally about to hit the peak and drop.
Like, yeah, it's just like when I heard people had got the screeners a couple days ago. These three can attest that like my message, I was like freaking out.
You're like, I swear to God, if I see a spoiler, I'm committing.
I'll drive to someone's house and throw their face in mud or something if they spoil this for me. Like it's just like
I will commit a felony.
Legitimately, I will commit a felony for this show. Like I think my expectations might be a little too high because of it, but
I don't think
I'm okay with that. Like I am absolutely okay with that.
I think you're more excited more than your expectations being high.
My expectations are high.
Okay, well,
there's a reason I'm staying up super late tonight to do a Whiskey Jedi to talk about it.
I think I kind of hit the peak of like my like setting expectations for it a while back where I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to have fun with this. Like I'm just going to ride this roller coaster and it's because I know it's going to be great regardless. So I'm just like, I'm at the point where I'm just like, bring it on. Like I'm ready. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't want to give myself high expectations, but I have high expectations just because it's like this is Dave Filoni's baby.
That's how I feel.
You know, it's literally Dave Filoni's baby. So because of that, I'm gonna have very high expectations. So, but from what I'm seeing, it's been very good. So, but
I think everyone will like it.
I hate when she does this. I hate when she does this.
Well, everyone said I would like Andor, and I thought Andor was just okay. So
yeah, we know it took you like a month and a half to watch 2 episodes.
Naughty, it took like 6 months.
Oh, fair.
She only finished it like 2 months ago.
I think if you like Rebels and you enjoyed Rebels and you watched Rebels, you will very much enjoy the first 2 episodes.
So I have one simple question. It's not a spoiler. It's not anything like that. I'm just curious for people who have not watched Rebels. If you have not seen Rebels, is it still very easy to feel comfortable with the story and where people are at?
I think so.
Having not known.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Depends on how desperate people are for context, you know, if that makes sense. But
because I would probably put a bet that more than half the people watching are going to be people who have never seen Rebels before.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be something that you can go into without having to know what came before.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to an extent anyway.
I will be interested to see the reactions of people who haven't seen Rebels, but I don't think it'll be an issue.
And Rue said, he's been saying in the chat, he never watched Rebels, and he said it was easy. Not confused one bit. He saw the first two. So that's a good sign. Okay,
Well,
we got to stop talking about this because I'm going to...
I was gonna say, well,
lose it.
real quick,
I'm
I was
gonna
gonna say
lose
my uncle's never seen any of the animated stuff, but like he already loves Bo-Katan, and like he's loves
She's
the bits
badass.
and pieces that come from the animated series without having seen it. So I imagine this is probably very similar.
The biggest thing coming... Oh, go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead, because mine's
I was just gonna say the biggest thing coming from this is that everyone needs to give animated shows a chance.
Yes,
Like just because it's animation doesn't mean it's kid.
Animation is a medium. It doesn't mean it's for children.
Like Thrawn blows up a dude on a motorbike in Rebels.
I
Okay.
did not remember that, and when I did my rewatch, I went. That was the moment when I went, oh.
Like it
Maybe
has
he's
like of course
not-
it has its kiddie moments, but because it has to, but it is still an adult show in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Yeah, Thrawn is pretty ruthless in that show once or twice.
Yeah, when I did the rewatch, I was like, still on my like, he's not like a horrible person, and then I saw that and I went,
Brian, he's evil. He's
I
the
know.
worst.
That was literally the point where I went, oh, well, I guess there's no explaining that one. So, whatever. Question for you before we get into other stuff. I'm curious because I know you probably won't. Are you gonna get the physical Mandalorian stuff?
Oh, like the
it's tough.
Steel books. That's
It's
it.
tough just because. Like, do I want it? Like, yeah.
Oh, of course, I know you
But-
want it.
It's probably more than likely a no, just because we have a baby on the way. Like, I know that it's very small space, but I mean, you can tell behind me how much I love my physical media. I don't have room for it, and
That just means we'll buy
what
it.
does the baby need in its room?
diapers to poop in.
That's it.
So
Put some shelves in there.
I mean,
Start
I will never say no
Hide
to a
it,
gift.
hide it in,
I'll never
hide
say
it in
no
with
to
the
a
baby
gift.
books. Hide it,
Put
hide
it
it
on
with
the
the baby
registry.
books. It's the same size as a baby book. Just hide it. in
Yeah,
the
just
shelf
replace
baby
one of the
book
books
show.
with the Blu-ray set.
Just
Dude,
put the
that'd be
Blu-ray
so
set in
funny.
there. It's fine.
It probably would not look any different than a book chapter.
It
book.
adds to the aesthetic. It's fine.
But I mean, look, I would love to, and I looked at all the details and what they come with, and I think it's a great idea because you don't get a lot of really good TV show box sets, stuff like that. And I would absolutely love to, but as of right now, it's probably a no. Sadly. So.
Agree with Jane. I wish they came with commentaries, or
I
do they
agree.
come with anything that you can already find online,
Mhm.
like content-wise?
There's probably some like behind the scenes featurette stuff that's never been seen before.
Because if it does have exclusive stuff, might get it, but otherwise probably not.
Yeah,
You'll probably get it.
I wish it came like with extended versions of the gallery. Essentially, that would be super
nice.
cool.
The art, whoever did the artwork on it, it looks gorgeous.
They
Yeah.
do look nice, yeah.
Like visually, they are very, very.
Yeah,
stunning.
Jane says a few special feature stuff, kind of behind the scenes, as typical Blu-ray stuff would have. I'd imagine maybe even like scenes that weren't shown or have never been shown or something like that. So,
For it.
all right. Well, I imagine that's not the last time Star Wars is going to come up on this channel. So let's
Not-
go ahead and move
Never.
into our main topic, official topic, serious topic of the evening. We're going to be just kind of running through like lessons that we now know that we didn't know back in the day, things that we would have loved to have known then to implement into our life now, what we would tell our younger self, those types of things. I'm going to throw it to Jill just to kind of start it off because she brought up the topic. And then we'll just kind of filter and bleed off of each other.
It was my post-hurricane brain.
I don't want to talk about movies and stuff. So let's.
What?
So
Did- I
Jill,
was
let me ask you this
I don't know
way. So you were in the middle of, hurricane, and your life was on the line. In that moment, what would you tell your younger self in that moment?
Like pre experiencing the hurricane or post experiencing the hurricane?
Both.
Because post hurricane,
Well,
I would have been like, it's fine. You're gonna be
Okay,
okay.
pre.
Pre hurricane, before I knew like that it literally wasn't as bad as they said it was. Invest in batteries. And
Did your power go out?
no, my power did not go out.
Yeah, lucky.
Invest in batteries and flashlights.
So, okay, that's a great question because like when we were kids, it was always you had flashlights in the house.
The
right?
only
Like-
flashlight I have in my house is on my phone.
Okay, so that's what I was. We my parents gifted us flashlights for Christmas, so we have flashlights
Oh,
in the
nice.
house. So I'm curious, Molly, do you guys have flashlights in the house?
I have like 1,000 battery operated candles.
That
I can,
works.
I can kind of
Okay.
use those as flashlights.
That
Old
works.
school, just carry
Okay.
them around.
Brian?
I definitely don't own a flashlight. I have a bunch of candles. My house would smell horrible though, because it'd be like pumpkin mixed with cake batter mixed with like
Oh.
It would smell like
cinnamon.
the inside of a Yankee candle store.
Yeah, like it's literally like the gunk they scoop out, mix together, and throw it. But I do have probably at least 3 or 4 external batteries that I have charged.
Like phone chargers.
Yeah, the kind. Well, yeah, pretty much anything that connects to a USB. That
We have a lot of those battery. Actually, my phone is.
yeah, I think I have a good like like that,
Oh,
like
yeah, I've
3
got
or
one
4
too.
of them that I keep, and I also gave one to my mom to make sure. In fact, I think a couple of them have battery, like a light on them, so like you double click the side of the external battery and it's a flashlight. So I mean, I figured if I have those and then my phone, I could just use my phone as a flashlight. So it's like
We might have a flashlight in we've got one of those emergency kits in the trunk of our car, but I
I
haven't
used to have
actually
one of
ever
those.
I have one of those for my car. Yeah.
looked through it to see. There might be one in there.
It's got, like,
There's
flares.
100% a flashlight in there for sure.
Yeah.
I've had to use the jumper cables in one of those before.
I have used the jumper cables in those.
Yeah, it actually comes in handy. You would never think something like that would come in handy, but it 100% comes in handy.
It's funny you said that because I had that. Didn't I text you guys the other day when my battery was
yeah.
dead? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the crazy happenstance of the man.
And I've
just, like,
always it just worked out perfectly. And I've always told myself I'm gonna get one of those like the singular battery ones where you just charge it and it stays charged and you just connect it and push the button and it does it for you. And it's like once that happened, I was like, damn it, I didn't even listen to myself. Like yeah.
Yeah, we have one of those too, like the little emergency battery things.
It's smart.
Okay, so that's our pre-hurricane conversations.
Yeah. Now that we're all on equal playing field with hurricanes, Molly's not special anymore because she has hurricanes, and that's about it.
Molly was giving me shit this weekend. She was like, "Remember how you're like, yeah, but Atlanta has hurricanes, and now we had a hurricane.
Now
Earthquake.
Now we had a hurricane.
Now we're better than you because we have earthquakes and hurricanes.
Yeah,
Yours
we got
suffers.
both.
Mhm.
Go for it.
It's not a good thing, guys.
I don't wanna
It's
mess
not
with
a
that.
good thing.
To be fair,
It's not a good thing.
To be fair,
We
it was
have
a tropical
Republicans, though,
storm. It was a tropical storm when it hit us. So it wasn't really a hurricane. It was a storm.
It was
different.
funny 'cause when you messaged us in the chat and you were like, "Be safe, everyone." I was like, "Nick and I are just chill."
They're just chilling. They're chilling.
I forget. I just I hear whispers of like, oh,
Molly
hurricane
forgets how big
California.
California is.
I was
I
trying to
do.
tell my mom that too. She was like, I was like, Molly told us all to be safe because of the hurricane. My mom's like, I think we're fine.
Well,
Like, we
just
are.
be safe anyways.
Yeah.
Just be safe.
So,
And Brian, you got sick, so you weren't being safe.
Yeah, take
I
that, Brian.
wasn't. No, I definitely wasn't. No, I'm sick. Boo.
All right, enough of the survival mode conversations here. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to tell their younger self, or a lesson that they would have loved to have learned earlier in life?
Me, I'll
Okay.
start.
Okay.
Mental health is just as important as physical health. and start going to therapy sooner is what I would tell my younger self.
Yeah.
Is that so? Question, just kind of off of that. Is that because you just didn't want to go?
It's because I feel like when I was in high school, it was still very much a taboo kind of situation.
I agree with that.
Like I was actually diagnosed and was given antidepressants when I was in high school, but I didn't take them way back when. But I probably would be a lot less anxious than I am now had I actually like gone to therapy as a kid. So there's nothing wrong. There is nothing. Mental health is just as important as physical health. I would have told my younger self that, like, ASAP, because that's very, very important.
That's a good one. I think I would agree with that, just because even if you don't think there's anything you need therapy for, like, you don't need to wait until something crazy in your life happens to go to therapy, because if you have already learned the proper techniques and coping mechanisms and thought processes to deal with that stuff, like if you already have that toolkit in your brain, then when that crazy stuff in your life happens, you know how to
prepare,
deal with it properly, and like process things in a healthier way.
Or it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't happen.
Exactly. Because you have the tools in your belts to help.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, go to therapy. Even if you don't think you need it, go to therapy. It's only beneficial at the end of the day, really.
And there's also, just for anybody who is out there who may be wondering or curious, there's all kinds of different types of therapy.
I do two different ones.
It's not just to, like, you know, it's not because you're screwed up or you have something wrong. Like I mean, when I was a kid, when I was younger, it wasn't so much like social anxiety, but I was kind of socially awkward. Like 8, 9, somewhere around there. And I just went and talked to someone each week just to kind of maybe push out my boundaries a little bit.
Just to build up your social.
Yeah,
skills.
just to kind of, touch it up a little bit, kind of help me with it and wonder, what I was kind of thinking or picking my brain about. And so there's all kinds out there.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind if you are wondering or afraid to look into it.
Especially if your insurance covers it
yes.
at all. Like, take advantage of that.
Yes.
Because people pay a lot of money for therapists and psychiatrists and stuff like that. And if your insurance covers it, like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, even if they don't cover it, there are options like that are, I mean, it's not cheap, but I mean, like, you could do my friend was talking to me on Friday saying like they wanted to set up therapy, but they couldn't because they couldn't afford it. And I was like, just do like the BetterHelp stuff. It's like $50 or $60 a session, hours, and you work it into your budget or schedule. So it's just, I mean, it's there. And I mean, there are, people that you can probably talk to, friends, family wise, that will listen, even if, I mean, it's not the same. It may be a little bit because they know you, but don't be afraid, especially men. Don't be afraid to talk about things. So
it's not a weakness to talk about your emotions and your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be completely transparent. I do therapy twice a week. I do it every Monday in a group setting. Right before this, it ends at 5:30. It's like a group setting one, and then a singular one. Just so, and it helps. Sometimes you feel like you don't need it, but there's other times when you don't, that you do, and it's there, and it's like, oh, this is nice to have. So, yeah.
I like what Flick and Real said too. Don't be discouraged if your first therapist isn't a fit.
You have to shop around sometimes.
I've seen, probably 8 different therapists since I started going years and years ago. And sometimes they just don't work out, especially like for me, anyone trying to give me tough love, I was like, not working. You got to be nice to me. I'm paying you a lot of money.
You gotta be
100%.
nice to me.
I literally, it's funny because I literally have been, you guys know what I've been going through since last year. And since my therapist left in June, and I'm doing this new one where they like match you and whatever. And I start with a new person tomorrow, and everyone keeps saying like, if you don't like them, dump them and find the next one. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Because if you don't feel comfortable talking to that person, it's not going to work. And it's not going to happen. You have to like build at least some type of like connection to that person. If you in your gut don't feel comfortable talking to that person, they're not for you. Plain
If they talk more about themselves than they talk about you, also leave.
Yeah.
But
it's important.
There's one of my child's life advices that I would give. So we got real deep real quick. I apologize.
No, that's fine because mine's
it's a good start. It's a really, really good start. Does anybody have anything that kind of goes off that or their look back?
I have kind of a silly one. Not silly, but like, don't sit weird.
Oh, that's a good one though.
I grew up. I
Don't
can't
sit
change. I can't change my camera angle right now, but I grew up for the longest time. I would put one or both of my knees up and like sit on the couch like that.
Oh my God,
my back and my knees hurt all the time now. Don't sit weird.
That is the quintessential emo girl pose. It's just wrapped and bundled. The fetal.
I've never sat like that because I just physically can't sit like that. So.
It's so weird because like my sister and my dad both did it all the time. So like I think I just kind of got it from them. But now, and especially like I went through a lot of weird back pain stuff where some of my vertebrae are like hypermobile, so they're like extra stretchy and when they shouldn't be, and they're like it's probably from that. But yeah, it's caused a lot of problems, so just like take care of that.
Do you see yourself did you see yourself having bad posture from it?
Kind of. Like I think Alex struggles with bad posture more than I do because he sits for so long at the computer. I like am just an anxious person, so I get up every like 10 minutes or so anyways to go do something I forgot I was doing the previous 10 minutes before that. But it doesn't really give me bad posture, but like when I'm sitting on a couch or like some kind of like comfy surface, I'll just like end up getting into weird positions and then staying there for like hours.
It's because your couch is so comfortable.
Because we have couch bed.
I'm so excited to meet couch bed.
It's excited to meet you.
Yay.
My dream is to go over to your house and flop out on that couch and get smacked in the head by Pippin. Literally.
If it happens to me, I'll document it.
It's on my bucket list.
We can probably make that happen.
Brian, did you sit any weird ways or?
Oh, I do. All the time. Mine, I've noticed, but I think it's because I'm getting fat again. That my knees have been, but I tend to like sit in very weird positions. So like, especially like if I'm laying on the bed playing video games, like I'll be like, that's why one of the reasons why I struggle doing POV plays is because I typically am like, yes.
What's POV plays?
When he's was that a dig? Was that a read?
That was shade.
Was that a read?
You're not one of us three. You're not allowed to throw shade.
I love it. I love it.
No, it's.
I love how serious you said that too. I believed it for a second.
I got Jill. I
was like, it's when Brian. Oh.
For a half second, I believed it, and then I went, "This shady bitch." For the record, I am absolutely going to be doing it in September for the spooky games because I've honestly been looking forward to it. I don't know why.
You can play the spooky
We
game.
gotta
I've been telling
figure
Molly
out
to
the
play for 3
notification.
years.
We gotta figure out the notifications to make sure that happens.
I'm gonna set that up and play it this year.
Yay.
I'm not. This is one of those things where I'm like, you're gonna do it type of thing where you're like forcing yourself into doing it because you know it's gonna be fun, but just because you're uncomfortable doing something doesn't mean you won't have fun doing it. So I'm gonna force myself to do it, even though.
Let's hope it brings in the money, Brian.
Oh yeah, you know me.
Money.
My only problem is figuring out where I'm gonna do it because if I do it in my apartment, my neighbors are gonna think I'm getting murdered. And
Who cares?
Oh, we all saw me freak out over the
Cabin in the Woods
The
logo.
Cabin in the Woods intro.
In fact,
Well, that
I'll
was
be-
just that one time, though.
But it was the intro, Molly.
It was the logo. The logo of the movie scared him.
we'll have to put that on TikTok. Where was I going with this?
I have no idea.
Bad
You were talking about your posture.
Oh yes.
Or you could, or you could bring up your life advice.
I'll just end it with like that. Yes, I have bad posture. I actually have hyperlordosis, which is a sway back.
Zoom type.
So yes, thank you. So it's a sway back, and essentially like my chest comes out like I stick out kind of forward, whereas my butt kind of sticks back. It's kind of like that shape.
That happens a lot when you sit a lot too, because your hip flexors get weak, and then it like you get the pelvic tilt thing.
Well, for me, it's my my tummy, probably weighting me down that way. But yeah, no, that's something that I've always been a little afraid of because my great grandpa was I never met him, but my mom and grandparents always said he had such like bad posture or something that he actually eventually was like this, like walked where like it was straight, it was like an L.
Yeah,
and
I've seen
so-
people like that.
Yeah, and that terrifies me because I'm like, I don't go that far. So yeah,
I don't have like terrible posture, but I did fight for a long time because I was
you were
baseball.
forced.
I was a
forced
catcher.
posture.
So I was a catcher in baseball for over a decade. It was my life for a very long time. And naturally, you bend over, you're bending your knees, but you're also kind of leaning forward with your body because of the position. And that's what I did every day. And so I did fight, and I still fight a little bit today as far as just a little bit of back aches, but it never resulted in like really bad posture. I'll catch myself every so often. It's more so just the aching, like Molly talked about with my knees and my back every so often. Because even though I'm not like super tall, I'm considered tall for a catcher because you are bending down so much.
Yeah.
And so naturally I lean over because of that reason. But yeah, no like terrible posture or anything, which I'm very lucky because I have seen those people who lean forward or scrunch their shoulders or, and it doesn't look, comfortable for obvious reasons. So, all right, before I get to mine, I'll bring up Timson's super chat here. Thank you, Tim, so much. Something I learned from my own life: never be ashamed of being too old to do something new, especially if the one you're doing is not working out and becoming toxic. Absolutely. Preach.
100%.
That's a great one.
100%.
Just because I mentioned it earlier when we did the book club for Rise of the Red Blade, I was going back and listening to other Delilah Dawson interviews, and she didn't write a book till she was like 33.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's a very celebrated author of like tons and tons of books. And she talked about like getting an art degree and like trying all these different forms of art and feeling like none of them really stuck and none of them were like really that gratifying for her. And then she started writing and she was like, oh, there it is.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes, I did not know that, so that's very cool.
Yeah, age is just a number.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it in sports a lot too. Older people breaking through in a sport and doing something that they've been waiting to do for a little bit, and they're able to do it finally at an older age, which is really cool. So mine is kind of just, I think it's one that's mentioned quite a bit. But it's a result of me kind of losing things a lot in my life at a younger age. Is never take things for granted. For those who maybe weren't watching very early on in the show or haven't caught when I've talked about it, but I was in a very bad car accident when I was 16. Lost my dream car, and then I was also kind of stripped away from baseball because I got hurt. So it taught me very young, because I lost baseball at 19, and so it was very young for me to lose that, and it taught me at a very young age to kind of, it doesn't really sound great, but live at a day-by-day pace, and take things as they come at you. Obviously you want to look forward and plan things and whatnot, but you also kind of want to, be in the moment and the things that you're doing, whether it be something as small as being at home with the loved ones or out doing something with friends, and I've really tried to do that over the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of my life as much as I can. It took 2 major things being taken away from me, but at the same time, it resulted in something much better, which I can't complain about. So, I think a lot of people don't realize, what the term taking for granted is when they're doing things, especially at a young age, because it's not really something you're taught. It's kind of something that you have to learn and understand over time. But if you realize it, you'll be able to enjoy things a little bit more as you do them. So
yeah, there's a reason why almost every recovery program of any kind says, one day at a time, so you don't get too overwhelmed.
Well, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And
yeah.
You could attribute that to a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
true.
Side note, apparently Fire Festival 2 is
I saw that.
happening.
I saw that. Yeah.
Wait,
How?
From the same
Sean-
guy.
Sean just texted me honeymoon. And I was like, no.
no, they're just
It's-
doing it so they can
I
make
think
another
it's-
documentary.
I think he said it's $500 a ticket. Is what
It's
he said?
$500 for the first. What for the first 500 tickets is $500.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yikes.
No,
And the scary thing is people are going to pay for that.
of course. What's another piece of? Huh?
They can't fuck up twice.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they can fuck up twice, Sean. They
No
very
way
well
they
can.
fuck up twice.
Yeah.
Have mercy on
Anybody
us.
anybody watching, just while we kind of think and talk our way through things, if you guys have any, please let us know. You guys can hit a super chat or
Sean, do you have
hit
one?
the
Do you have
Streamlabs
a,
link. Just let us know.
Oh, God.
do you have a do you have a piece of life advice you wish that younger you knew? Like a serious answer,
is
not like a
odd.
Sean answer.
Birds aren't real, right? I mean, that's
Do you have one?
Nothing that I should say to record on camera for the internet.
Okay.
I feel
Noted.
like that is good, too.
Noted.
I've got another silly one. Don't wear 6-inch heels every weekend going out doing stuff, because now
No.
my feet are just like
F.
permanently effed up.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what?
Oh wait, Sean's coming back. Yes.
Spend a paycheck on underground seats.
On underground, what?
Underground seat. It's a magic card. Spend a paycheck on it. Buy 10 of them.
Oh,
Is-
a Magic
Oh!
the Gathering card.
Are they worth
He-
a lot of money now?
he clearly didn't do
Okay.
that back then. Is what
He
he's
clearly
saying.
didn't
Yeah.
do that back
Okay.
then, and now he's mad.
So
because
what
he
Sean
got
is
worth a
saying
lot
is,
of
if
money.
you're if you're
Oh, he's hot tub time machine.
Yeah. Travel in time, get a sports
travel
almanac.
in time.
so Sean's
travel
piece of
in
advice
time.
is, if you're wondering if you should buy that thing, yes, you should buy that thing.
Yeah,
They got stolen.
they would have gotten stolen. That's right. You wouldn't have had them. So maybe it's a good thing that you didn't buy those. They would have been stolen in your car with all the other
Something-
magic cards.
Or maybe
Something that
bring
I
your backpack inside.
Something that I started doing in my probably towards my early 30s is nurturing my inner child with
Mm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
like figuring out what things I really enjoyed from my childhood and trying to get back into them, or just buying that
Oh, that's another-
silly, stupid Sailor Moon hoodie that I had always
Yeah.
wanted, and just random stuff like that. You'd be surprised how comforting it can be if you find the right thing.
Those are like my favorite TikTok videos. Have you
Yeah.
seen the one, where it's a mom that's 70? always wanted like a Barbie dream house, and then like their children bought it for them, and they just lose it.
Mhm.
Kills me.
You don't really know like what kind of reaction you might have until you do it, and it could be very healing.
Mhm.
Kind of picking off that a little bit, and I don't know if someone mentioned it or not, but don't be embarrassed to like what you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, who
That's-
cares?
And it's become a lot easier over the last 10 years because geek
Mhm.
culture is kind of like the thing, thanks to Marvel and the resurgence of Star Wars a little bit.
And the internet.
Yeah, the internet has helped, but a lot of big properties that were super hardcore geek back in the day are now mainstream. They're out there for people to love and be a part of. But when we were growing up, or even the time beforehand, it was, I don't know if I want to reveal that I like that so much, or I don't want to tell this friend that I do this, just because you don't want someone to look at you differently, or to make fun of you, or to say something to someone else because you like that thing. Like what you like, love what you
Yeah.
love, do what you want to do. And it's very hard to do as a young kid, whether you're 10 or even 16. That's something very hard to wrap your head around.
Mhm.
But if you are able to do that earlier, it will help you, because I have seen people firsthand struggle when they are in their 20s because of that stuff.
Yeah.
And
And-
if someone's going to make fun of you for it, that's on them. That's not on you.
Yeah, if you want to start celebrating Halloween in August, you do you.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
that's where we
Jake.
cross the line.
Yeah,
That's
right,
where
Jake?
we cross the line.
Jake, right? I will piggyback off that statement though, and say, for anybody, if you are gonna people who are gonna like tease you or make fun of you for your interests, that person's not worth your time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's if a friend is going to make fun of something, like teasing is a little different, but like full on like what you're doing is dumb, that person's not worth your time.
Yeah, like
anyway.
there's a fine line between teasing and bullying.
Between teasing and bullying, yeah.
Mhm.
So, I'll do another piece of life advice that I actually have implemented all my life, but I know that a lot of people have not, especially in my generation, that I wish was more instilled in people's brains, because it's not taught about in schools. If you cannot pay for it, do not put it on a credit card.
I learned that the hard way.
This may be not great, but I still don't own a credit card.
You'll need to, just to build credit, which is unfortunate.
Actually, my debit card does both, so I have the credit, but I don't need it for right now. If you can't over 700, so it's like,
if you can't immediately pay it off, unless it's like an emergency, obviously there's going to be like emergency situations, but like if you're like, I want to go on this vacation and I'm just going to like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to F up your credit.
That spirals a whole other conversation regarding school systems, but I'm not getting into that.
Yes, because that should be taught in school. You should be taught credit should be taught, how to write a check should be taught, how to
do taxes.
How to do your taxes should be taught. It's just something that doesn't.
I still every year, even though I know how to do my taxes, go like, oh God, please, I hope I didn't mess something up in the government.
Right. IRS, don't come after me, please.
Like I get why certain subjects are taught, but they don't need to be taught every single year.
No.
Things like investing.
Like, what's the difference between a Roth IRA and like a
all that needs to be taught.
Yeah.
All that needs to be taught. But that
100%.
again, that's a whole other conversation that can spiral into a lot of different shows. So
oh yeah.
All right, we got one more from Mike K. Thank you, Joe, by the way. That one's a good one. From Mike K here. Who here's one that stuck out with me. You're not afraid of the failure, you're afraid of success.
That's fair. That's deep.
That is a deep.
That's very deep.
That's a deep one.
Yeah, because what do you do then?
Mm-hmm.
Have to keep successing.
Yep.
Succeeding.
Successing.
I like. Where was it? I like this one from Laserbolt. Take care of your teeth.
Yes.
This is a very, very good one.
Take care of your teeth. Because if you'll be like, oh, I don't want to go to the dentist, it's just this one thing. That one thing is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until you're just royally you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Take care of your teeth.
Did not do a great job at that growing up, and I paid for it tenfold.
Granted, some people just naturally have those teeth that they will just never get a cavity, and they can not go to the dentist for 6 years and their teeth are totally fine. That some people are like that, but even then, just don't even. It's not something you want to mess with.
Yeah, it takes 5 minutes to brush your teeth twice a day. Like
Yes.
It takes 30 seconds to floss. You know,
Did you hear that? Did you hear the other day? I think it was like on Good Morning America where they said that you should only shower twice or 3 times a week.
Oh God! I mean, I only wash my hair like once a week, but I shower.
You would never. But
in the winter, I could see that working for me.
They said obviously.
As if I'm going anywhere.
Yeah, they said there's obvious like caveats to it, like if you're working out every day or something.
Yeah.
But if you're literally just like a casual, just like not anything too insane, like I guess you're like the bacteria biome or whatever it's called, the natural one.
Biodome?
No, not biodome. You should only 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, I mean, like I've gone through a bunch of different soaps as far as like body wash and stuff, and I think if you use a really mild one and you're not like scrubbing your skin every time you shower, or even if you just rinse off with plain water, I think that's fine. But yeah, lately from how hot it's been, I'm showering a lot more than I usually do.
If you live in humidity, please shower every single day.
Oh, I already told Sean. I said, because I usually shower in the morning, and I'm like, for Atlanta, I'm showering at night because I'm not going all day through that humidity and then going to bed. No.
Controversial. Night showers over morning showers.
Absolutely not.
So when I worked with kids, I would do night showers because I didn't want to. I didn't want to come home after working with little children all day and then coming home and having like random.
I mean, I'll shower at night after doing something.
Shower multiple times
every morning.
I can't.
No,
my
I don't.
skin
I shower
is
once a day.
When we lived together, it was like twice a day.
My skin is way too sensitive to shower more than once a day. I can't.
Yeah, me too.
My skin.
For the record, everybody watching, it is once a day, and if I'm doing something and sweating, I will shower it off. I don't shower multiple times a day.
My whole
just
thing
for
is,
the record,
I don't like getting in bed dirty.
That's fair.
From the day. So like I would rather shower before bed, go to bed.
That was me when I worked with kids, so I get it.
Yeah, exactly. I was always a night showerer, mostly because I prioritized my mornings and just like wanted to just roll out of bed and go to school or whatever. But like if I washed my hair, it takes way too long to like do all the hair stuff in the mornings. So yeah.
You are the fastest shower taker I've ever heard in my life. I'm literally like there when we lived together, I would be like, oh, I'm going to the shower or something. And then like 5 seconds later you're done and I'm like, how is that possible? Like I need minimum 10 minutes. Minimum.
Why?
I'm a big boy. It takes a lot of time.
Big boy.
I can shower pretty quick. If I'm not washing my hair and I'm not like super dirty from something, I just go in, I wash all the stinky bits, and then I get out.
It takes no more than 5 minutes. No more.
Yeah.
I don't wash from like neck to like I don't wash everything with soap because my skin would freak out.
Yeah, my skin will just erupt.
Have to shower in long hair.
It gets everywhere.
It's not. That's why I only wash it once, maybe twice a week.
There's a reason why like women will like pull it out and like stick it on the wall because it's like my hair. It used to shed a lot more, but yeah, I mean it's better on the wall than in the drain.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You'd rather clean it out of the drain.
No. If it goes down the drain, fine. That's no problem. Just put it down the drain.
And then, you gotta snake it out of the drain later.
It will cause problems.
I just had to snake the drain the other day, and that was.
Hey, if you Drano or clean it regularly, you got no problem. So
I remember when we lived together, we had your bathroom shower was so dope. So Jake's shower was like, it was a shower, but then it like sunk into the ground. So like it was, I don't know, it was awesome. But like it was also perfect for Kylo. So like
No.
it was just like between his hair and I'm sure Gabby's hair, I can only imagine.
Oh.
Just yeah.
I will do that.
No,
I'll
that's
like
just a memory I don't want to get into.
I'll
Yeah.
catch my hair, whatever hair's shedding, and I'll like put it on the wall, but then I clean it off afterwards.
See, I know no difference because I've only ever lived with girls. So like
Got it. Same
like
with
my
Sean.
mom
So
and my
Sean's used to it.
sister. It's my mom and my sister. So like
Except for the 2 years you live with 4 boys.
Oh my
No big
God,
deal.
that's way too many.
4
That's-
boys.
that's
That's a
true.
lot of boys.
That's too many boys.
There was 5 of us in a house.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I lived in a house with
Well,
4
I only
boys
had
at one
shared
point.
the shower with 2. You and Shaw had your own bathrooms.
Mhm.
And Corville doesn't have body hair at all, anyways, because he's like pubescent 15-year-old. But yeah, no, I don't know the difference. It's funny though because I have one of the like shower things now that like cover for hair and stuff, and it's like after like a while, like when it builds up, I'm like, that's for me. It's like just pure leg hair. I'm like, what the hell? Like
Ooh.
maybe I was.
Your leg hair comes off?
I have hairy legs.
Your legs
Italian.
they shed?
You shed?
Your hair comes off your body.
Not my. Well, I guess I
Whatever.
shave my legs, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't really.
Oh.
Jake, you're
No.
completely
I don't know
hairless,
if I-
but you don't have.
No, but I don't know if I've ever noticed my leg hair just coming off.
It does. You
No,
probably
but I
just
mean-
don't notice it.
I mean, from scrubbing it and stuff, eventually, after like a month or 2, you're gonna have some hair on the drain. I'm not saying this is daily, but it's like, yeah.
You're shedding like Kylo around the house. That's wild. Late or
I mean,
men.
I'm not. I am.
Men, if
Italian.
you date Brian, you're gonna be finding hairballs around.
No, it wasn't me. Yeah.
All right. We have 2 more to get to. I want to bring up these 2 before we start to wrap things up here. First one comes from fire spray all day. Sounds cliche, but try not to be negative. You'll become jaded way too young.
I am the queen of pessimistic optimism.
Same.
Because I would rather think the worst. So when something good happens, I'm surprised by it instead of thinking the best, and then when something bad happens, I'm disappointed. So I am an optimistic
What kind of way of
pessimist.
thinking is that?
It's great. It's great because then when something bad happens, I'm not disappointed. Because I'm
As
like,
the
oh, that's what I was
resident-
expecting.
As the resident optimist of the 4 of us,
I am not
Oh,
an
yeah.
optimist.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am not at all an
no, I
optimist.
know I'm not. Jake would always tell me I'm like the most.
Jake's the
negative
optimist of the
person.
group.
Yeah,
I'm somewhere in the middle. I
You are.
feel like when
you're
it
the
comes to
Bendu.
yeah, I am the Bendu. Especially when it comes to watching shows and any Star Wars shows and movies and stuff that we have to talk about on the channel. I go into it very flat. Like, if I love it, great. If I hate it, my expectations are very low for just about everything. So that I'm just like, all right, that was fine.
Sean Room, your like hairs don't drip. You have like 4 hairs on your whole body, so I don't even want to hear that from you. Sorry, didn't mean to cut off the optimist pessimist thing.
No, I mean it's very easy.
There's-
I'm the optimist. Optimist is for
Yeah, I'm unfortunately a negative Nancy, but I think that is also like, if I'm being honest, like had to learn to deal with a lot of negative things, so it's hard to constantly think of the positive when you're kind of hit in the face with a lot of negatives. So
That can be true too.
yeah,
I don't know if this is a result.
for me,
of
it's
it.
a form of protection, though.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it. It's almost kind of like, you can't make fun of me because I'm fat, but I can make fun of me because I'm fat. Like
Yeah.
like that type of thing where it's
Mhm.
like,
Well, it's a defense mechanism.
yeah. So I think that's where mine comes from more than thing. It's like more of like me protecting myself versus like being an open and vulnerable type thing.
hmm
I learned very young, very early on, about being positive about things because I played a sport that was all about being negative. If you are 33% success, you are a success in baseball.
Yeah.
3 for 10 is a success. Like
It's true.
So it's very difficult to learn that at 7, 8, 9 years old that it's okay to get out because you have so many chances. And if you're only 3 for 10, you're considered one of the best. So I think a lot of my positivity kind of comes from that, because you kind of relish in the successfulness of baseball when it does come, because it is kind of very few, when in the large number of it. So
Yeah. I still say my favorite Star Wars quote is from Qui-Gon: "Your focus determines your reality."
damn right.
I think about that all the
Ooh.
time.
Where's
Like,
that from?
it's from Phantom Menace. Well, yeah, duh, it's from
The
Phantom
one
Menace,
where
but-
Qui-Gon's in.
Yeah, the one that's
It could
Qui-Gon.
have been from a book or
No,
a
it's
comic
it's from
or anything else. It could have been from Tales of the
The
Jedi.
one with Qui-Gon.
But it's so true, because like, and I remind myself of that all the time, especially if I find myself doom scrolling or like looking at negative
Doom scrolling.
comments, or like, I try not to go and look for negative stuff on the internet, but sometimes you just fall into that rabbit hole, and I gotta like stop myself and say, if this is what I'm focusing on, it's all I'm going to think about and feel this whole day.
Question for you, Molly, because obviously, Star Wars Explained's been going on for quite some time. Do you still look through comments, or did you stop?
Sometimes, like, sometimes if I put something funny in the Q&A, I'll pop through the
Fair.
comments, but not on every
When
single
you edit
video.
it,
Yeah, if it's one of mine, I'll go read the people who enjoyed it.
Were you an avid, like, on looking every video when you guys first started everything?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Just curious. Has Alex ever been a comment reader?
Yeah, I mean, especially when we first started, he was, and then I've had to repeatedly tell him not to.
Yeah.
But like, on the flip side, we want to go in and like get rid of any awful comments.
Yeah, for sure.
But at this point in our career, we have so many words and phrases and just like ridiculous stuff muted that
Yeah.
like, if you went and looked at it, it would read like a crazy person's rantings.
the muted has saved me for Ahsoka, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Piggybacking really quick off of internet and comments, don't feed the trolls.
Don't
feed the trolls. Just a real quick statement. Don't do it.
Sometimes fun.
No, don't feed the trolls. Don't do it. No,
Like
no,
when I had like the DeSantis thing that happened to me the other day, that was so fun.
don't feed the trolls.
Was it fun?
Oh, it was hilarious. It was like stand up for his wife, and I was like, no, sorry, I'm not a Nazi. And they were like, but we aren't. And I'm like, are you?
But we
What?
are.
Yeah.
Why are you
it was
talking
a-
to Nazis?
It was a whole
No,
thing.
don't feed the trolls.
Don't ever. It will eventually backfire almost every time.
It's not worth it. Don't do it. Don't feed the trolls. Anyway.
All right, one last one that I have highlighted here comes from
I saw
Gordon.
mine, by the way.
I thought you went earlier with the therapy stuff.
No, that was piggybacking her.
Oh, well, you should have said something.
I was being
Okay,
polite.
I'm going to read Brian's or Gordon's, and then we'll get to Brian's to finish out the show. Gordon says, don't put off until tomorrow what can be done today.
Yes.
I struggle with that still.
I've implemented a rule in life where if you can do it in 5 minutes, do it now.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I like that a lot.
I can't do a lot in 5 minutes.
Because if there's like one dish in the sink, that's going to take me 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just do it now.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm,
If you can do it in 5 minutes, just do it now.
I can tend to be lazy, so it's
I
All right, bro.
I tend to work. Sometimes I'll be like, I work better under pressure, but that's not true.
That's not. Yeah.
I've just told myself that my whole life.
All right, Brian, finish it off. What is your piece of advice for your younger self?
I think it's pretty obvious, but for me, it was learning to accept myself and just kind of like knowing it's going to be okay. It's funny because I'm very iffy on do I like the fact that it took me 32 years to finally like be okay with myself? No, I don't like that. I look back and I feel like I wasted a lot of my life.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had a really hard conversation with one of my friends the other day where it was like, it kind of sucks to think that like for 32 years I didn't get to be and say and do and act like I wanted to, and only for the last year and a half. I mean, this year is 2 years that I have been able to do anything openly. The craziest thing to me is reading books, like it like centered around my interests, for just fear of reading that book is going to get you outed. Like it's just, it's sad because for me, I struggle looking back on it and saying like, I wish I could have done this differently, because the way I did it and the way it happened, like I can't, the love I felt the day that I did that, like I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's funny because it took COVID to get to that point. And I mean, family wise, nothing really would have changed. But I think, to be completely honest, the thing that held me back the most was friends. I was terrified of losing friends the most. And I really don't know how it would have been doing it younger, because I feel like at this point, as an adult, you're like, who cares? Like, I'm at this point, like, if you don't like me, great, cool, I'm moving on, like, type of thing. Whereas when you're younger, you kind of very much value what other people think about you and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
stakes don't feel quite as high the older
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny because I don't like to sit and dwell on it, because then I start to like really like
Rabbit
question.
hole.
Yeah. Question it, because I am very 50-50 on it. Like, the way it happened, I came out and stuff. I don't think I could have pictured or had it go any better than what it did. Like, I truly can't. But at the same time, it's really, really hard when I sit and think about like,
What if?
And 32, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
32 years of having to pretend to be something you're not. And like only within the last year and a half have I gotten to just do and be and say whatever I wanted without fear of someone judging me or telling me something I didn't want to hear. Which, I mean, that is still a reality, but I don't care, like, at this point. So it's hard. I think for me, just going back, I would like to just be like, it's gonna be okay. I don't think there's any perfect way to do it. I'm very lucky in the sense that I was surrounded by love, whereas some people get the complete opposite. Like, I was doom scrolling on TikTok yesterday, and it was literally a video of kids telling their parents and them being thrown out of the house. Like, things like that. Like, so I don't take that for granted at all, that I had the complete opposite reception. But I don't know. It is very hard to look back and think like what I would give to start over, maybe even at like 25, just to have 7 years. Wait, no, 8 years. About to be 9, because it's got 2 weeks left. But like, I don't know. I still don't think I would change anything about high school at all. But I would love to go back to like college and see how different things would have been, even as far as just like when we met, just like what, 2017, 2016, around then, like not that far, but just to see like what would have. But at the same time, like I said, I don't regret how it turned out just because of how
Yeah.
it was received.
Mhm.
So, and I feel like there's a lot of people, including people in this chat, or people watching this, that kind of feel the same way. Like, I mean, my DMs are open if you ever are someone you feel like you need someone. But it's funny because I always used to just see like the commercials and stuff being like, it's going to be okay and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is it? Is it really going to? But then
Yeah.
like, it is.
But it's
It might
okay.
not be exactly how you pictured it, but there are going to be people that
It's going
love
to be
you
Mhm.
and stuff, no matter what. And they don't have to be people in person. I mean, when I posted it on Twitter, like, because it's funny because I never wanted the big, like, telling people in person. I don't think I never told anyone in person. Like, I did it all through the computer or on
Mhm.
the phone or text message. I text
Imagine
message.
back in the day when everybody had to do it in person.
And
Yeah,
real
like
life actual person.
I did it to I text my sister, I called my mom, and then the rest, I just didn't want to have to constantly keep doing it. I don't
Yeah.
I don't feel like anyone has to do it if they don't want to.
Yeah.
So I just did it on Twitter and I just said, I'm done with it. Just like, boom. And this was like right at the end of COVID. So everyone was still like on the computer and stuff. And then you see like 700 likes and comments and you're just like, holy shit, like type of thing. And I probably have only met a dozen, maybe more in person. So it's like, even if they're not physical people in your life, like you can still find the love and support somewhere else. So for anyone that's was or is in my situation, like there are people that will love and care for you. It's just, you just have to find them.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, regarding Brian, you about the regretting and everything, you have a very long time ahead of you. So
Yes.
I know it's hard to, you're going back to the pessimistic side of everything
Yeah.
as we talked about earlier.
Circling back.
I heard this quote the other day. I was watching motocross, which is kind of one of my favorite sports. And it's a very kind of reactive sport where you have to forget about things and kind of move forward. And the quote was, "So what? Now what?"
Mhm.
Right? So
Good one.
what? Now what? And the best, I mean, look, like obviously it's unfortunate that it happened that way, and everyone would want it to happen differently, but you can't change it anymore.
Mhm.
Got it. You just, now what? Now what? Now what can you do? Right? And you talked about the last year and a half, you've been able to do what you can do. So what? Now what?
Yeah. Even it's funny because I'll catch myself even thinking like something simple as like when we lived together, like how different would that have been? Or just like, I don't know. It's living in the past, I know, and it just kind of it's hard not to do because it's easy to just think about. But
It is easy to like think about the past and like do the regret and the what ifs and stuff, but the problem with that, and this is from me being in therapy, it keeps
Circling back.
you from moving forward, and like it can subconsciously keep you from, experiencing new things for the future or for the present. If you keep kind of, because I do that too, and I try really hard not to think about stuff that I regret or the what ifs and stuff, because if I do, I will just spiral.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's been something I've had to work a lot on in therapy.
Would you say you just gotta keep moving forward?
Aha!
yeah.
Hey, we promised you guys we were getting deep into it tonight. I told you guys.
Yeah.
Warned you.
I knew once we did that, like immediately that was what mine was going to be. And it was just, it's sad because, and I will say, even though in the world we are in some aspects taking a step backwards, which is scary. It is when you look closely or have an eye for it because you're one of those type of people, marginalized, whatever you want to call it. Like there is a bright side to it. For me, working as a teacher, like I I I don't think I ever when I was in high school knew a transgender individual ever. And like now at my work, like I can name like 5 off the
Mhm.
top of my head, and they're some of my most favorite people. One of my favorite students. I don't have favorites, but
Everyone has favorites. Don't
yeah, I
lie.
know. But like, I mean, I have a pride flag hanging from on my window right next to a I don't want to say what the wrong name of it. I don't know. It's one of the BSU students gave it to me, and it's just stuff like that where it's like, go back 60 years. You think there would be any type of BSU stuff hanging in a classroom? Absolutely not. Go back 40, 30 years. You think there'd be a pride flag hanging in a classroom? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
So it's like, it is kind of, it's nice to see. And it does, there are slow changes, and people are, for the most part, hopefully, BSU is
Right.
Black Student Union, Andy.
I didn't know what that was either.
Oh, sorry. But it takes time, unfortunately. But in the long run, hopefully, for whoever it is getting better. And I feel like we learn a new spectrum of discovery on sexuality and whatever every day. And yes, it's ever growing. But I think at the end of the day, as long as people just look at each other as humans rather than their labels, I mean, what more do you need? Like, I mean, if more people can just like someone just because they're fun to be around or just
Yeah.
funny, whatever, anything, like that's all that matters. Like, who cares who they don't like, the bands they like?
I'll fight you if you don't like the band I like. I'm just-
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'll fight you.
That's fair. But yeah, I just think people need to stop like micro analyzing every single thing and just like someone for who they are, not who they love. Like how did that who I have who I marry or something doesn't affect your life at all.
You're getting married?
No, I wish.
Sorry.
But
that's a surprise to us.
People should get to know people more, you know, like that's part of the problem. Like I think about friends of mine who have parents who think a certain way, and I'm like, if they would just, because like their social circles are all the same, like white church people, that's all their lives are.
Yep.
And I'm like, they don't, it's comfortable, and they don't take the time to learn anything else for years and years and years. So
yeah,
it definitely helps to try.
I literally had that conversation with Sean the other day about people we know who think a certain way because they're not, how did Sean put it? Not politically educated, I think is what he said, because they're just stuck in this one bubble and they don't branch out and learn of other people and etc. But
don't be afraid to put yourself in an uncomfortable position or an unfamiliar spot, because like, I mean,
that's the only way you'll learn.
100%. Like I went to my high school, I could name probably all the kids I graduated with that were Black on one hand. Like it was basically predominantly all white school. Now I work at a school where it's the literal opposite. There's probably 5 white kids at the whole entire school. And now I would and how many times have any one of us been like, you should probably work somewhere else. It's not safe, blah, 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 blah. I mean, yes, I've been on that campus when a gun was brought to school, but I wouldn't trade it for the world with those kids because, one, they just want to know that they're loved and just feel a sense of safety versus just going to school. Like, I would much rather work somewhere like that and know that, like, a kid just wants to come and hang out with me at lunch because their home life sucks versus just feeling comfortable because all the kids are rich and white and they don't like stuff like that. It's just, don't be afraid to put yourself in a position you haven't been in or didn't grow up in. I don't know.
My mom used to tell me to always be friends with the weird kids because they were
Yes.
the ones that were eventually going to lose it and come to school with a gun. And I was like, that's
that's not the good reason why you should.
I was like, that's not the best way to
No.
say that, but I get it. I know she's coming from a good place.
That's why I always make friends and with the kids that scare me.
Yeah. Because usually they're not that scary once you get to know them.
No, they're not. They're usually the most fun, softest hearted kids.
Yep.
They just need some extra love and let someone know that they care, that you care about them.
They need to know that they'll be safe before they can like show you that they're not that scary, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
Well, that was a very deep. Hey, I said it on Twitter. It's gonna be a therapy session today, and it was a therapy session.
Yeah, we're not breaking up.
This one's free for everybody. The next one we'll charge for.
Yeah.
It'll all be on Patreon going
We
forward.
charge by the hour.
But no, thank you to everyone in the chat who shared something, any of the comments you guys made, you know, chiming along as we went, you know, along with the show. It was a great show. It was we got into some really good stuff and, you know, revealed some really good things and talked a lot of good things out. So thank you for the donations as well to those who sent in the super chats. We appreciate you all. Just a little heads up on POV stuff going forward. Thursday we have
Jake, did you paint your nail?
Oh, Pupper.
Hi, Ray.
Hi.
Say, I haven't gotten to jump up on an intro or outro in a long time.
Thursday, we have Happy Madison Bar Trivia on the Patreon. Billy Madison, Big Daddy, and Happy Gilmore are the three movies. As I mentioned up top, you will also see an Ahsoka reaction from myself and possibly others on the first two episodes of Ahsoka, which come out tomorrow. And then we may or not be recording a Brian Tries on Thursday as well. So look out for that.
Even if it's lame tries, we're recording.
It's not a lame tries. It's not.
It's not.
It's never a lame tries.
And if you are interested, just continuing the Ahsoka train along, I'm going to be jumping on in 8 minutes to the Whiskey Jedi and doing about a 45-minute hangout talking everything Ahsoka. So you guys can join me over there. Guys, any final words before we wrap it up?
Good talk.
Okay.
Love everyone.
Just love everybody.
Yeah. What Gordon put, never judge a book by its cover.
There you go. Great way to end it. Again, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.